All right, welcome to this explainer. Today we are unpacking a massive, truly fascinating topic, vitamin D in health and disease. Now, you've probably heard it called the sunshine vitamin and just kind of left it at that, right? But as we'll see today, it is so much more than just a standard vitamin. It's actually a highly complex, tightly regulated hormone. And finding the perfect balance, what we're calling the Goldilocks zone, is absolutely essential for our bodies to function properly.
So let me just start by asking you this straight up. Is more vitamin D always better? It's a super common assumption. We tend to think, well, if something is good for you, popping a few extra supplements must be great, right? But today we're going to challenge that assumption and explore what I like to call the sunshine paradox. Because as we dive into the underlying medical science, you'll see that swallowing more of this stuff really isn't always the health hack we think it is.
Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. Making the sunshine vitamin. 2. Its role as the ultimate calcium gatekeeper. 3. The toll of deficiency. 4. What happens when good vitamins go bad. And finally, number 5, finding your sweet spot.
Let's jump right into part 1, making the sunshine vitamin from sunlight to hormone.
The first thing to understand is that vitamin D isn't just something we passively absorb from our food. Our bodies literally manufacture it. It's like we have this highly specialized, multi-organ biochemical factory inside of us. It happens in 3 distinct steps. Step 1 is in the skin. When ultraviolet B rays hit you, they convert a compound called 7-dehydrocholesterol into vitamin D3. But the factory isn't done. Step 2 takes us to the liver, where an enzyme converts this into the main circulating storage form of the vitamin. And then finally, step 3, we go to the kidneys. Here, another specific enzyme performs a second modification to create the actual biologically active hormone. And the end result of that whole factory line? Calcitriol. That's the active hormone form, 125-dihydrovitamin D, created right there in the kidneys. Calcitriol is the true superpower end product here. It's the hormone that actually goes out and does the heavy lifting in your cells. And what's really crucial to remember is that its production is tightly regulated by another player called parathyroid hormone, or PTH. This whole setup lays the foundation for how this compound operates in our bodies day to day.
Which brings us to part 2, the ultimate calcium gatekeeper. What exactly is calcitriol's job?
Well, essentially acts as the ultimate gatekeeper for your gut and your bones. Calcitriol operates via nuclear receptors to increase the intestinal absorption of calcium and phosphate. Think of it like a key. You can eat all the calcium-rich dairy and leafy greens in the world, but without calcitriol unlocking the doors in your intestines, that calcium just passes right through you, literally. By unlocking that absorption, it gives your body the essential building blocks needed to promote proper bone mineralization.
But here's where it gets wild, and it's why vitamin D is an area of massive, ongoing medical research. It's so much more than just a bone vitamin. The active hormone also plays a huge role in modulating our immune system, both our innate and adaptive responses. It's heavily involved in muscle function, and researchers are actively studying its potential cardiovascular benefits and even anti-neoplastic, meaning anti-cancer effects. It truly is a systemic hormone that touches almost everything.
So what happens when that internal factory shuts down? Let's move to part 3, the toll of deficiency.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how starving the body of this hormone looks completely different depending on your age. In children, whose bones are obviously still growing, a lack of vitamin D causes rickets. The growth plates just failed to mineralize properly. This leads to physical deformities. We're talking bowing of the legs, widened wrists, delayed closure of the fontanelle on the skull, and what's called a rachitic rosary, which is this noticeable beating along the ribs. But in adults, where the bones are already formed, deficiency causes osteomalacia. This is a defective mineralization of mature bone. It leads to deep bone pain, proximal muscle weakness, and a vastly increased risk of fractures.
And this is where the body's raw survival mechanisms kick in. When you have a chronic vitamin D deficiency, your blood calcium drops. To fix this, your body triggers a compensatory rise in parathyroid hormone, or PTH. This is called secondary hyperparathyroidism. Basically, your body makes a desperate, destructive trade-off. It sacrifices your skeleton, breaking down your own bone tissue to release calcium, just to maintain stable calcium levels in your blood so your heart and nerves can keep firing. It literally eats your bones to save your life.
That sounds awful, right? So the logical answer must be to just take massive amounts of vitamin D supplements. Well, no. Welcome to part 4, when good vitamins go bad.
We really need to shatter this more is better illusion and look at the medical reality of hypervitaminosis D. Because vitamin D is fat-soluble, your body stores it. You don't just pee out the excess like you do with vitamin C. The medical literature is incredibly stark on this. It says toxic effects include hypercalcemia, hypercalciuria, nephrocalcinosis, and soft tissue calcification due to unchecked intestinal calcium absorption. What that means is, without regulation, this vitamin causes your gut to absorb so much calcium that it dangerously spikes in your blood, dumps into your urine, and literally begins to form rock-like deposits in your kidneys and soft tissues.
Clinically speaking, unregulated excess transforms a healthy vitamin into a literal medical emergency. A patient suffering from vitamin D toxicity presents with anorexia and nausea. Because of the massive spike in blood calcium, they'll have polyuria, which is excessive urination. And of course, that leads to polydipsia, or extreme thirst. That high calcium also disrupts brain function, causing confusion, and severely impairs the kidneys. It's really bad news.
So, we can't have too little, and we absolutely can't have too much. Let's look at Part 5, Finding Your Sweet Spot, and how we measure and manage this.
This actually sets up a brilliant diagnostic irony. You would naturally think that to check your vitamin D status, a doctor would just measure the active hormone, calcitriol. But they don't. Doctors actually measure the inactive storage form created in the liver, 25-hydroxyvitamin D. Why? Because the active form is so tightly regulated by PTH that even if you are severely deficient in your overall stores, your body will crank up PTH to squeeze out every last drop of active calcitriol it possibly can. If a doctor only measured the active form, it might look perfectly normal right up until your bones are completely depleted. Measuring the storage form is what tells us what's actually left in the tank.
And what happens if that tank is overflowing and you hit toxicity? You can't just wait it out. Step 1, obviously, is to immediately stop all vitamin D and calcium supplements. Step 2 is aggressive hydration using IV isotonic saline to help the kidneys flush out that excess calcium. And Step 3, if the hypercalcemia is severe, doctors have to bring in heavy-hitting bone drugs like IV bisphosphonates. These literally force the calcium back out of the blood and into the bones to stop the organ damage.
So, as we wrap up this explainer on vitamin D and health and disease, I want to leave you with this thought. We've seen that this is a powerful, essential hormone that requires a delicate Goldilocks balance. Whether it's through careful, safe sun exposure, dietary sources, or physician-guided supplementation based on actual blood tests, are you getting the perfect dose of sunshine, or are you just blindly swallowing risk in a pill? It's definitely something to think about the next time you reach for that supplement bottle. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and keep learning.